We'll get to the Jordan Henderson no goal in a second, but obviously Virgil van Dijk is the big talking point this Monday, really, when it comes to the Premier League and across the world. There's so many things to discuss here, but let's get straight to one of the points, which is why was Jordan Pickford not sent off, or why was it not properly reviewed? We think it wasn't properly reviewed as a potential red card.
Well, I think the first instance, Mark, it is a red card and he should have been sent off for serious foul play, but it would appear that the VAR, David Coote, looked at it and didn't think the referee had made a clear and obvious error. So I'll just talk through the process. So what we've actually got here is a penalty. And when we have a penalty, what we've got to do is check the attacking phase of play. And in the attacking phase of play, there is an offside. So that nullifies the penalty.
Van Dijk is offside.
That is correct. Van Dijk is offside. So that nullifies the penalty. So we restart play with an indirect free kick for offside. However, that doesn't mean that Pickford couldn't be sent off for serious foul play.
And just to reiterate, serious foul play and violent conduct is basically the proximity of the ball, isn't it? Serious foul play, you are competing for the ball. Violent conduct, the ball could be the other end of the pitch and you headbutt somebody. Yeah,
I mean, there's lots of words in the law, but in a nutshell, if you think about challenging for the ball is serious foul play and not challenging for the ball is violent conduct. So if you think of violent conduct as striking, or you punch someone, where serious foul play is a tackle or a challenge.
Yeah. So Martial, the other day against Tottenham, that was violent conduct when he...
That's right, because
out at the Mella. Yeah. So there's the still of it.
Wow.
And you can see there the absolute point of impact on his right knee. And now and of course, you know, he's going to be out 4 months, isn't he, because of this ACL injury?
I was out for 10 months.
You were out for 10 months, were you?
10 months with an ACL. And I look at that, Mark, and it's terrible. You know, back in my day, you know, when you had to go high, I never went as high as that. But back in my day, you're playing against people like Paul Ince, Roy Keane, Brian Robson, Patrick Vieira, and you had to look after yourself. This, I mean, honestly, I'll say this very loosely, what I'm going to say, because I understand having an ACL operation and the rehab is one of the most brutal you can go through. The more I watch that, the more I actually think Virgil van Dijk has had a result. It's only his ACL.
Really?
Because honestly, looking at that could have been so bad and a horrendous, you know, a career-ending tackle. So
the injury comes from when the leg straightens, isn't it? You can see the force of Pickford, his leg, there it's still bent, but the next frame, his leg's completely straight, isn't it?
Well, no, it goes past straight, it goes into hyperextension.
Oh, it goes the other... Okay,
yeah, so the ACL... what it's designed to do, it's designed to not let your knee go into hyperextension. Yeah. So as soon as my knee goes straight there, that's a natural position.
Yeah.
We don't want to ever to see it go into hyperextension.
Which is what happens.
Which is what happens, and your ACL snaps. And then I can only wish him all the best. You know, I joke about, you know, the sort of ACL club and players that have been in there, and everyone will vouch. He's in for a tough road. His operation won't happen, I would imagine, very, very soon, because there's a process you have to go through, and that's allowing all of the swelling to go down, so the surgeon can go in there and they'll take the graft from the hamstring. Used to be a patella tendon graft. It's now hamstring that they use. And he's looking...
It's the season, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he'll do well.
And the Euros probably as well.
He'll do well to come back from the Euros. Yeah. There has been cases where I think people have come back in about 6 or 7, but the normal...
I remember Falcao rushing back for a World Cup.
He come back after 4. He come back after 4 months. And Mark,
really, was he?
Listen, I could bore you to tears on the process and what you have to do from day 1 after your surgery into week 1, into month 1. And that's my knee, you know, back in 2002. And that's a good couple of weeks after. You know, so that's the size of my knee. And that's a good couple of weeks after surgery. So... listen,
Which knee was it, by the way?
Pardon?
You can't tell, can you? You can't tell.
Right knee. Right knee. I wish they were that size now. There's nothing of mine. I'd love them knees now.
I mean, we wanted to think positively for Van Dijk. The way that techniques are now, he will be fully fit. All being well,
yes,
he will come back this time next year as strong as ever. Let's say it's this time next year.
Mark, the best news I got waking up from my operation, and it was a game changer for me in terms of my mentality, because you're panicking. Because when you wake up, you obviously don't know where you are, and you're panicking. The first thing, how did it go, Doc? Right, and the doc said to me he said, your knee now is stronger than the one God gave you. And I was like, wow. Like, I'll take that.
Yes.
Because now I know the operations went well. The graft it's now all about the healing process. Be careful not to rush it. Anyone that's been through that operation, it's a good 6 weeks before you can even think about putting your boots on or trainers on. It's a couple of months before you can run in straight lines, and then he'll have the best physios and the best rehab.
And that's, I think you've said to me before, that's a slightly misleading bit, because you can run in a straight line after 2 or 3 months. You think, I'm almost there, but you're not.
Oh my!
You're still months away, even though you can run in a straight line after 3 months.
The best advice I got from John Green, who's my physio at West Ham, is you go through a process where early after the operation, you are very sceptical of how it's gone because you're in so much pain. I mean, I can't tell you the pain that you're in. And then you get to a peak. You think you're at a peak at about 3 months, 4 months, and you go, I'm actually feeling really good. Been in the gym, strong. You know, you do different machines like rowing machines, so physically you feel good. That's the healing process. So from 3 to sort of 6 months, that's where everything's just starting to take shape. The graft's starting to take shape, where it's been pinned and screwed. That's the most critical phase, and you have to be patient. Then when you come off the back of that, 5 months, 6 months, you're then starting to twist and turn, boots on, there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
But it's a very, very slow process, and you have to be patient.
Let's have a look at a statement from Virgil van Dijk today in light of what happened over the weekend. This afternoon, obviously yesterday, I met with a leading consultant to start the process of planning the finer details of my rehabilitation. So exactly what Don has just been talking about. Fully focused on my recovery, on doing everything I can to be back as quickly as possible. And in football, as he says, as in life, I think everything happens for a reason, and it's important to try and keep level-headed, whether going through the highs and the lows, and to follow the process absolutely to the letter.
He will have, like anyone that's been through major surgery, he will have peaks and troughs. There'll be weeks and days where he feels great. There'll be other days where psychologically he's gone, and that's where the physios are great. And I was in a headspace, I think, after about 4 or 5 months, maybe probably a little bit less, 3-4 months, and I was no good to anyone. I was quite depressed. I was sitting at West Ham on the training table, in the treatment.
They're all running out to train.
You're watching them through the window.
Oh, that's torture.
It is torture. And the physio was unbelievable because he knew I was gone and he couldn't get any work out of me. Mentally gone. Physically, I'm itching. I'm ready to go. And he said to me, get yourself on holiday for a week, recharge, get some sun on your back, and then when you come back, we go and get fit and we go and get you ready. And it takes time. I come back after 9 months. It took me another month to get football ready, because then you've got to go through the process of playing games and training.
And you need a big hard tackle, don't you?
Exactly.
You need to be kicked up in the air.
I was just about to come to that.
They're all queuing up. Who was the six on?
So the turning point for me was Glenn Roeder put a 7v7 on, and it was like oranges versus black bibs, and I got given a sort of pink bib, which is a sign of no one's allowed to touch Don. So you're on both sides. So because that's the sort of you've got to get going again, because you don't want a hard tackle. You've got to be protected. So you can't.
One of your teammates was colourblind. Boom.
No, so you can't fail to have a good game because you're only on the side that's got the ball. So defensively, you've got no defensive responsibilities whatsoever. So you can only have a worldie.
Yeah.
So our centre half at the time, Thomas Repka, crazy man.
Yes.
Decided I've had enough of him. He went straight through me with a 2-footed tackle. 9.5 months after an ACL. He lifted me 6 feet up in the air, and I came back down and I bounced back up and I went, I'm back. That's exactly what I needed.
Bet you didn't think that when you were 6 feet up in the air. You're up there thinking, the next second's going to determine
this is going to be interesting. And then you hit the floor, and then you take the whack and you go, I'm back. And you need it.
Aren't surgeons brilliant people? And the physios, I know the physio, and your mental strength. Well done, you, Don. Coming back.
Really good luck to him.
Yeah, good luck. Now, I was trying to think last night, massive injuries which have shaped and dictated title races. We go back in time. Roy Keane getting injured at Leeds in 97, 98. Arsenal won the double. And Arsenal were going very well in 2008 in February when Eduardo broke his ankle at Birmingham. This is up there, what I mean, up there in terms of how this could shape the title race.
I think it will shape it. I think he's so important. He's their man, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's the turning point for them being where they are now. Yeah. So with him not being there, is that going to be the turning point for them not staying where they are? And I think it's going to be a huge thing for them. Don's right. The most important thing is, and the best thing that's come out of this, and I agree with Don 100%, it's an ACL. That could have quite easily broken his leg. If he did hyperextend fully hyperextend, his leg would have been dislocated, and that would have been it. He'd have been finished.
Without
a doubt. You cannot.
That's why I said that loosely. Really loosely.
Yes.
You feel as though, because the tackle was so bad, he's had a result that you know he's going to come back from. Yeah. You have a perception, didn't you, if you're a fan throughout the world, and you go, who would we not want to lose on our side? You know, if you're a Man United fan, you wouldn't want to lose Bruno Fernandes. If you're Man City, you wouldn't want to lose Aguero. With Liverpool,
he's the number one not to lose.
Yes.
Yeah,
Because brilliant though the front 3 or 4 are, there are other ones.
Yeah.
yeah, there's Jota, there's Minamino.
Yeah.
Should we have a look at the options? This is where Liverpool are in terms of centre-back options now, with Van Dijk out for the season. Gomez, Matip, then kids really, Van der Berg, Phillips. Now the bottom one's the interesting one because he's played centre-back already.
Yeah.
And you know, with Keita in midfield, with Wijnaldum, Thiago having come, I think we're going to see a lot of Fabinho in there, don't you?
I do, and I think Jurgen for the first time might actually go to a 3. Because when you look at his potential wing-backs, Andy Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold, they could be equally as effective higher up the pitch, even higher than they normally play.
Yeah.
So I think you could see Matip, Joe Gomez and Fabinho playing there.
It might be
and
the
then
way
they can
back
try
then,
and get through that January window.
Yeah, 10 weeks till January, and then maybe
bring in that Stella Upamecano or Koulibaly to then come in to try and get them to the end of the season and try and win some trophies.
Kind of takes the responsibility off of Robertson and Trent as well with their defensive duties. You know, take a bit more off them there, bit more offensive play for them, even though they're always there. But the 3 just stay.
Yeah.
I understand what you mean. Yeah, that's a great shout.
Well, he'll definitely be thinking about it.
Yeah, you have to. You have to.
Definitely be thinking about it. OK, let's have a look at a few goals. And then we've got a massive moment, of course, in stoppage time with Chris to debate, which is the disallowed goal of Henderson. First of all, Salah, 100 up for Liverpool. Bad defending. I mean, what's Mina think he's doing?
No, he's got enough time. Yerry Mina there has got more than enough time to turn and clear that with the inside of his right boot. Why is sticking a leg out here? Don, who did you say he's trying to be?
Paul McGrath was the best at it. The best back heeler of a footballer I've ever seen.
Well, what about that from Salah? That's instinctive. Bang. Technique, instinct.
It's just one of those
similar goal to the one the other week, wasn't it?
Morris.
Villa.
Yes.
No, against Villa.
Yes.
It was.
It was, in the top corner.
Yeah.
That's what he does. Instinctively, no backlift at all. Balls come in quickly, quick backlift and connect. Great strike.
Beautiful
really
timing.
Good strike, yeah.
And then Calvert-Lewin making it 2-2. What a season he's had, Calvert-Lewin. We're having a fun debate. You can have it at home. Who better crosser of the ball this weekend, Digne or Reguilon coming up? But look at that. Come on, Dion. Even now you head that in.
Yes.
Even at your age.
Yeah, at my age, even at 12, when I was playing under 18s football, I'd have scored that one. Above Robertson and Gomez there. That's just he's in a purple patch, what we call a purple patch for a centre forward.
Look at that.
Where he's not scared of anybody. He don't care who's marking him. Might have been different if Van Dijk was there. If he might have had something to do with it, but he doesn't care now.
He's just peeled off onto Robertson, hasn't he?
Yeah, you have to go when the ball's going down the left. Or the ball's going down the right, you have to go the opposite way. Down the left, you go that way, so you can come in. So if the ball goes there, you can go left or right. You always give yourself the options. He does it so well now. He's been taught so well by being done. What you do is give yourself every option, every chance.
And is the theory that if you peel onto a full-back, they're by definition not quite such a good a header of the ball as a centre-back?
Yes. Or you can get put onto the full-back and hope it's going to be put onto the centre-back's head, because you're out of the eye line of the centre back.
And you've got a bit of momentum there.
Absolutely, yeah. So you come over the top of the
brilliant header.
Well.
Absolutely fantastic header.
But he's been taught well because you know when you think of centre forwards in the past, you have a 50-50 option. As soon as you see Luca Dean going to whip that in, you could sprint towards near post. But Dion's explained it perfectly that you go far post because then you can judge the flight of the ball, and you seem to get feels like an eternity, but you probably get a second more of judging the flight of it. Then you can arc your run and go.
It looks like a sort of step ladder there. Look at that. That is a fantastic climb, isn't it? It's
brilliant.
And look, Robertson hasn't even got off the ground. He's probably given Robertson a little nudge.
Didn't allow him.
Just a little nudge. So you stay there.
Absolutely.
He should have that picture on his front door.
Yeah.
The whole of his front door
should be that.
Just be that.
Yes.
Just to wind the postman up if he's red.
And make sure that maybe the bell or the door knocker is where the ball is.
Yeah.
You know? Michael Oliver, I think we'd all agree, is our best referee. Didn't have a view of the Van Dijk, but he did have the Richarlison challenge, Chris, and he's straight in there. Richarlison's trying to stay down as long as possible in the hope that gets him off the hook, but no chance.
No, he's not got much of a chance. I mean, he does his best to disguise that he's injured and he's the victim of the piece. But when you see this, I think when you first saw it done, you sort of winced, and I looked at him and went, wow. But listen, as a referee, if you're in the wrong place, you don't spot these. And,
it's all a little bit luck. Look at it. Look, nearly hyperextension again. His leg's gone into hyperextension.
Yeah, it has.
It's just all about that bit of luck you're relying on. Referee's called it absolutely spot on. It's a shocking tackle.
Thiago's okay, thank goodness.
I'm going to ask, can I show that again? Can you show me that again, please? Show us that again. Because if you watch the first angle,
yes,
and I think if you watch the Liverpool defender, I think it's Gomez. Look, watch Gomez. Watch the challenge. Watch Gomez 12. Look at that. Look at that. You can always,
he's worried.
You can always go off the player's reaction.
Yes.
They see the tackle. They see the extent of it. And you can see, like Don says, hyperextend again, studs are up. Gomez is thinking, wow, that could be really bad. That's what he's thinking. You can always go off the player's
reaction. As you see them tackles, me and him as an ex-pro, we got at that.
Yeah.
You don't
want to see him.
But as a referee, do you wince as well as a ref when you see those?
You do, and I think what you also notice as a referee is it's a sickening noise. It's something you don't really, you would never really hear.
Yeah.
But when you hear a player wince like that, you know that something is wrong, and that is well worthy of a red card.
Yeah, as you say, actually, it's a really good point of yours. Often, look at the players. You see the bad injuries we've seen, it's the players.
Definitely.
Remember Son last year? He was in tears, wasn't he?
Yes,
with
he
Gomez.
was, with Gomez.
Gomez. You can tell by the players' reaction.